Last time we talked about slope, and we've talked about one way to graph 2 times ago when we talked about using the 3 points, choosing 3 values for x, and then finding the values for y, plotting those on the graph, and then connecting them with a ruler to find your line. The second way you can find the line, and this will give you the exact same answer, it's just a different road, but it will get you to the exact same place, is using what we call our x and y intercepts. What are x and y intercepts? Well, remember on my Cartesian plane, on my graph, I have a vertical line up and down, and I have a horizontal line. My horizontal line, left and right, is my x-axis. My vertical line up and down is my y-axis. So when I have a line on the graph, for example, this line right here, it will cross the x-axis at one point and the y-axis at one point. So this line crosses the y-axis right here at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 0, 5 is my y-intercept. So my y-intercept is always where it crosses the up and down line, the y-axis. My x-intercept is where my line crosses my x-axis. So that is, this case, 0, -1. So my y-intercept will always be 0 and then a number, because my y-axis, I haven't gone left or right, so my x is 0. My x-axis will be, sorry, I wrote this wrong, a number and then 0. So I went to the left, -1, but I didn't go up or down. So y-axis, 0 and then a number. It's going to be on the up and down y-axis where my line crosses. My x-intercept is going to be a number and then 0. Because I don't go up or down, I just go left or right. Those are what I call my x-axis and my y-axis, my x-intercept and my y-intercept. So an x-intercept is where the line crosses my x-axis, left and right. My y-intercept is where the line crosses the y-intercept, up and down. Now, if I only have an equation and I don't have a graph, how do I figure out what my x and my y-intercept are? It's very simple. I have an equation here in what we call standard form. An equation in standard form means both variables, my x and my y, are on the same side of the equation. And then my constant, the number without a variable, is on the other side of the equation. When I have a problem in standard form and I want to figure out my intercepts, first for my x-intercept, I'm going to use 0 for y, so I'm going to replace y with 0, and then I'm going to solve for x. So when y is 0, what is x? 2 times 0 is 0, so 3x plus 0 is just 3x. So when I solve for x, I get x is 2. So my x-intercept, remember, is always going to be 0 and then a number. So my x-intercept for this equation is 0, 2. That's my x-intercept. How about my y-intercept? For my y-intercept, I use 0 for x, and then solve for y. So I'm going to replace x with 0. Go back to my original equation. This time I'm replacing x with 0. 3 times 0 plus 2y equals 6. So that's going to equal 0. Then I'm going to isolate my y by doing the opposite. So y equals 3. And for my y-intercept, it's always going to be 0. And then my y number. So my y-intercept is 0, 3. So in order to find the x-intercept, I replace y with 0 and then solve for x. In this case, it's going to be 2, 0 is going to be my answer. So my x, what I solve for is going to go first, and then 0 is always going to be second. If I replace 0 for x, then I can solve for my y-intercept, so I get 0 and then my y. One more time, x-intercept, where it crosses the x-axis, so I'm going to have a number, and then my y is going to be 0. So what is my x when my y is 0? If I want the y-intercept, I'm going to replace my x with 0 and then solve for y. So I'm always going to get an answer 0 is x, then what is y? Now, how can I graph a line using this? Well, if I have my line 3x plus 2y equals 6, once I've found my two intercepts, so in this case, my x-intercept was 2, 0, my y-intercept was 0, 3, now I can just plot those 2 points and do the same thing I did for the last time, connect the dots, and I have a line. So I have 2, 0, so I start at 0, 0, go to the right 2, I have 2, 0. Remember, the x-intercept is always going to be on the x-axis, left and right. That's when I know the first number and the second number is 0. Y-intercept, 0, 3, so I start at 0 and I go up 1, 2, 3. So there is my y-intercept. Now that I have 2 points, I can use my ruler, connect the dots, and I have a line. So I connect these dots, and I have a line. Now, I could have drawn that exact same line using the process I taught you 2 times ago. Let me show you. My equation is 3x plus 2y equals 6. Let's use my ordered pairs. So remember, I'm going to choose 3 ordered pairs. One could be 0, and then I'm going to choose a negative number and a positive number. I'm going to do negative 2 and positive 2. So if x is 0, what is y? 2y equals 6. So y is going to be 3. How about if x is negative 2? If x is negative 2, I have 3 times negative 2. So that's going to give me negative 6 plus 2y equals 6. I'm going to isolate y by adding first. 2y equals 12. So y would be 6. How about when x is 2? That's going to be 3 times 2 is 6 plus 2y equals 6. Get rid of my addition subtraction first. 2y equals 0. 6 minus 6 is 0. But remember, when I divide by 0 by something, I just get 0, so I have 2, 0. Notice I got 2 of my same points that I already graphed. 0, 3, 2, 0, and I have one more point, negative 2, 6, which is right here, and it's already on my line. I got the exact same line, I just did it a different way. So both of those ways will give you the exact same line. It's just different ways to get to the same answer. I can use 3 x's and then find the 3 y's, or I can find my x and my y intercepts. X-intercept, when y is 0, what is x? Y-intercept, when x is 0, what is y? So, x-intercept, when y is 0, what is x? Y-intercept, when x is 0, what is y? The y-intercept will always be up and down on that axis. The x-intercept will always be left and right on that axis. Get the 2 points, connect the dots, and I have my x and my y intercepts.